Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1486 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA and beyond. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta, Peter Gross's favorite lasagna makers. The Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team, the best baseball in the city outside the Dome. Join Peter Gross at Christie Pitts on May 12, 2 p.m. I'll be there too. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. The Advantaged Investor Podcast from Raymond James Canada. Valuable perspective for Canadian investors who want to remain knowledgeable, informed, and focused on long-term success. Season 6 of Yes, We Are Open, an award-winning Moneris podcast hosted by FOTM El Grego and Ridley Funeral Home. Pillars of the community since 1921. Today, fresh from court, is Peter Gross. Welcome back, Peter.
Thanks, Mike.
You sound kind of glum there. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm okay.
Okay, let's set the table by telling people this is essentially a sequel episode in that you dropped by. When was that? Do you remember when you dropped by? I have it here somewhere. This was on
2 months ago.
March 14th. 2024. So on March 14th, 2024, you dropped by. I titled the episode, Peter Gross is in a Pickle. And here's a description I wrote. In this 1450th episode of Toronto Mic'd, Mike and Peter Gross discuss why the FOTM Hall of Famer might be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. This episode we talked for 46 minutes. How can you do the elevator pitch? Okay, we're on an elevator and you need to explain what you told me in that episode, but just to set the table, what happened to you with regards to your insurance and delivering food?
Okay, so I'd been delivering for Uber, and not bad, $600, $800 a week. It's helping with my bloated mortgage.
But more than Uber, right? Didn't you do
DoorDash? I started with DoorDash. Okay. I had an accident. RBC was my insurer at the time. When I told them that I was driving for DoorDash, because as you know, I sometimes talk a little too much.
You disclose information that's not asked of you.
Yeah,
You're a lawyer's
which is kind
worst
of ironic
nightmare.
Because I'm being punished for not disclosing information. Anyways, our RBC said, well, too bad. We don't cover you for DoorDash. We're not going to pay for your accident. So I had to get coverage so that I could continue working.
Right.
And none of the insurance companies want to insure for DoorDash. I can't really explain that, but you can get coverage for Uber. And I secured coverage for Uber with Intact Insurance through BrokerLink. And to this moment, I'm confused about who is BrokerLink and who is Intact.
So this is going to come back into play because we're going to talk about what just happened. So tell the listenership. So we're speaking now at 3:11 p.m. on May 8th? May 8th. I thought it was the 9th.
You're right. It's the 9th. Yeah.
Okay. Peter, come on. This is why you need to lawyer up. Okay. Bottom line is we're talking at 3:11 and at 2:30 p.m., which was only 42 minutes ago, it was 2:30. You had a scheduled court appearance, right? Was that Brampton Court?
I don't know where it was, because it was on Zoom. It was a settlement hearing.
But that was, Brampton Court isn't necessarily a physical location. Like that was, where did you file your suit?
I filed it in Brampton.
Okay, you filed it in Brampton. So you had an appearance in court before a judge, and that was done via Zoom. And you did it here in the TMDS basement studio.
For which I'm very grateful.
Yeah, so we set it up. You look good, by the way. You look sharp. People will see the photo. We'll take the photo. We've actually already taken it. Full disclosure, here we are in court again. But we took it in front of the full-bloomed Toronto tree. So for 1 week a year, the Toronto tree is beautiful, like the full bloom. And we got our picture so everybody will see how sharp you're looking. But you made a court appearance today. You did it in the basement. We set it up so I put a good camera on you. I put the good mic on you. And then I connected via Zoom. And then periodically, we'll talk about what happened. And I pulled a couple of clips. We heard one off the top. The judge was speaking in the cold open there. But periodically, I would mute your microphone and yell advice at you like I was Lorne Honickman. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we need to establish that I've sued the insurance company for
you
not
to be
renewing.
specific, though, because we're learning there's a big difference here.
Yeah.
So you sued Intact Insurance for not renewing your policy.
Yeah.
And what I think is more significant is they put on your permanent record something called misrepresent.
Exactly.
And every time you go to an insurance company or broker or whatever, they see the word misrepresent on your file and they're like, whoa, buddy, we can't help you.
That is my experience, yeah.
So you're basically, so I'm going to play that cold open again. This is the judge moments ago. I'm playing it again, Peter. You music to your ears. So that's the judge, and I'll play a longer clip in a moment that was recorded from this court appearance, but essentially this misrepresent label on your permanent record is going to follow you until you show up at the doorsteps of Ridley Funeral Home.
Well, I hope that's what I'm trying to end. I want that taken off.
Okay, you're not trying to end your life. You're trying to end that misrepresent.
Well, I'll never be at Ridley Funeral Home because, as you know, I'm never going to die. But that's from previous episodes. We've discussed that. And why?
What are the Bodog odds on Peter Gross ever dying? Because I'd like to place a couple of bets on that. Okay, so let's just set the table here and we talk about exactly what happened in court today. There was a woman. We won't name anybody, okay? Because I don't know if we're allowed to record and share this stuff. So there's a lawyer representing Intact Insurance. There is you, Mr. Peter Gross. There is a judge and a gentleman who was from Intact, and we won't name him either. But the four of you were on Zoom for a good, 40 minutes or something, a half an hour. We literally started this episode right away. So surmise for us, because I know what I think transpired, because it's all become very clear to me. But what happened, and then cue up this clip.
Well, essentially, the attractive lady from Intact.
I don't know. Listen, that doesn't help you, okay? Yes, okay. She's
nice lady.
She's aesthetically pleasing.
Okay.
But would it matter if she looked like a dog's breakfast?
No. Okay. No. I retract
and she's not
that.
Peter, she's not your friend. She works for the enemy here.
She basically submitted the argument that I was suing the wrong party. When I applied for insurance, I applied with BrokerLink. My understanding is that BrokerLink connects with Intact. Now, Intact closed my file. Intact put this definition of misrepresent on me.
Right.
I tried to argue that I should be suing Intact because the damage to me has been created by Intact, but both the lawyer for Intact and the judge indicated to me that really I should be suing BrokerLink. So that's
okay. So this is the important distinction here, and I'm going to play the clip that you wanted to play in court. I had it queued up to play, and the judge wouldn't let you play this clip. But now that I know this clip is not Intact Insurance.
It was BrokerLink, yes.
And BrokerLink is a brokerage. So you go to BrokerLink, you're looking for insurance, and they deal with many different insurance providers and try to find one for you. And it turns out BrokerLink lied to Intact. Okay, so BrokerLink is the true party that you should have sued, not Intact.
Let's say arguably they lied, or ostensibly.
This will all become clear.
Apparently they lied.
It'll all become clear. I'm going to play a clip.
Don't play it. Don't play it yet.
Wait, but I'm just going to play the one of you talking to BrokerLink back in the day.
Can't we set this up first?
Yeah,
I think we should set this up.
You're Peter
first.
Gross. You can do anything you want.
The reason that my insurance policy was ended, and the reason that I've been defined as misrepresent, is that I did not reveal during this conversation, my initial conversation to get insurance, that I'd had an accident on February the 27th. And my argument is they never asked me properly. And they say, oh, we did ask you properly. And so this is the only segment of the whole conversation in which the BrokerLink agent made any reference whatsoever to a previous accident. Now you can play it.
Do you have any unfortunate circumstances where you were not at fault? Someone crashed into you?
Yeah, like in the 70s, a guy rear-ended me. I had a beat-up old Volkswagen.
Okay, so we discussed this the last time you were over, but he distinctly says any incidents where you were not at fault and somebody crashed into you. So my question is, you're not you're the most honest man I know. So you're not hiding anything from us. Like, was there a previous question where he says,
No.
Okay, so this was the only question you were asked of that nature, and you answered it honestly, which is that, no, you went back to the 70s. Something happened in the frickin' 70s, okay? But there were, where you were not at fault, there was no incidents. But I'm curious now, like, was there ever a moment in your mind where you're like, why would he ask me only about accidents I wasn't at fault for? Like, why wouldn't he also ask about any accidents I was at fault for? Or you just weren't thinking about
It's funny, if you listen to the whole interview, there's a certain level of levity between the two of us. It's almost as if we're trying to amuse
You're going
each
for
other.
coffee afterwards. You're going to...
And I can't explain that. And whoever wants to challenge me on this will say, well, even if he didn't ask you about your previous accidents, you really should have volunteered it. But the next thing I know, he's offering me a price on insurance.
Yeah.
And this has been a difficult period for me, and I'm not comfortable speaking with insurance agents. I don't know what they're going to ask me. So at the point where he says, here's the premium, here's what we're going to charge you.
You're like sold.
Yeah. So, okay.
Oh, but it's interesting that you don't disclose his info, because historically in our relationship, I've told you many times, you disclose too much information without being asked, right? Like, so this is the only time in your life you didn't disclose something and it's come back to bite you in the ass. So
yeah,
you answered that question honestly, but all the time I was under the impression that that person you were speaking to was with Intact Insurance. But it turns out we have learned, and maybe you already knew, but that was not Intact Insurance there. That was the brokerage called Brokers Link.
Broker Link.
So that gentleman, and we could disclose his name is Sean. So that gentleman, Sean, that we just heard in that recording, he works for Broker Link, not Intact Insurance.
And Broker Link connects you with the insurance company that will insure you.
So Broker Link, you never talked to Intact. You just talk to BrokerLink, and BrokerLink then sets you up, and you get, let's say, a year policy or whatever with Intact, but you never actually need to speak to Intact in this process.
Yeah.
Okay. But Intact, it turns out, I learned today, Intact doesn't cancel it. Intact lets the 1 year lapse, and then they don't renew. So Intact decides we're not renewing this policy because we just learned about this accident that Peter Gross was at fault for, but he didn't disclose it to us. But the reason he didn't disclose it to BrokerLink is because you were never asked about any accident that you were at fault for. You were only asked about accidents you were not at fault for. Yeah. Okay, so I'm with you. I'm just setting the table.
That is my argument. I think Agent Sean, I'm sure he's a fine young man.
Well,
I think he
just wants to close the deal. He probably gets paid by a percentage of
conducted
a
an
contraction.
inadequate conversation.
Okay, so
didn't follow the script.
Do you want to set up the clip? Again, that was about a half an hour, 40 minutes of court time, but I have a couple of minutes here I could play. Do you want me to play this?
Yeah, there was a moment where the judge who was adjudicating the settlement, although he essentially agreed with the Intact lawyer that I'm barking up the wrong tree. But this was,
we'll get to that.
I thought this was a remarkable sequence of conversation with the judge.
Okay, let's listen to
offering his opinion.
A few minutes from this afternoon's court case, Peter Gross versus Intact Insurance. Here we go. Okay, so I want to echo what the judge just said here, which I think the long term, because you are only in your early 70s and your mother is still thriving at 100 years young. There's no reason to believe you won't be needing to drive, maybe even delivering for Uber for another 30 years, okay? And you have this misrepresentation on your file that it seems like it can't be erased. It's in permanent ink. That's where they've truly fucked you, Peter Gross.
Yeah. If you're on facility, you're basically considered on the scale of humanity below mass murderers, chronic drunks, and child molesters.
Okay, well, on that note, so this, and the judge seems just as befuddled. Again, this was the clip off the top, the cold open. You've been blacklisted for life, and you didn't even lie in your conversation with, by the way, I think it's called Brokers Link. I think there's
Brokers Link.
Yeah, not Broker Link. Okay, so with Brokers Link, so Brokers Link provides the information to Intact. Intact then, executes. Intact becomes aware that you had an at fault and then says, we're not going to renew this. So this lawsuit against Intact is going to go nowhere fast because you're suing the wrong company. Brokers Link didn't ask you the right questions, then lied about the conversation when they communicated with Intact, and this is why you have misrepresentation on your permanent file.
Exactly.
So tell us what you're thinking now. It was interesting that the judge was not allowed to give any legal advice to you because you're representing yourself, right? Did you consider hiring a lawyer or a paralegal to help you with this?
I did, and I've had conversations with Lauren Honickman. He's been very helpful, and I may have to call him up. And the judge very specifically said I should at least get a paralegal. He did give me that advice.
He winked at you with a little top secret advice there. But yeah, that's the advice he was giving you. But he was also suggesting that maybe, or it was suggested, that maybe you drop this suit against Intact and you start a new one against Brokers Link.
Yeah. But by the way, look, here, it's Broker Link. See that?
It's a Broker Link?
Yeah, I'm showing
Okay, well,
you.
she said Brokers Link.
Yeah,
Okay.
she said Brokers Link.
Peter's got receipts. I like dealing. You know what? But as I told you after your last episode, you can be right. I think you're right and correct. You're correct in this one, but you're still going to be wrong. Like, you're going to get fucked here. Pardon my French.
No, I understand. But what's the expression? The only battles worth fighting are the ones that can't be won.
Who's is that a John Gallagher expression? That's ridiculous.
No, I love that. The only battles worth fighting are the ones that can't be won.
Yeah, but I like to fight odd battle I can win too.
Listen, Mike.
Are you on the mic?
I have no choice here because if I don't go forward with the suit, then I'm going to be paying $680 a month.
Okay, stop.
For the rest of my life for insurance.
You're paying $680. That used to be rent, right? That used to be a mortgage payments. You're paying $680 a month and this doesn't let you deliver food for money. Which, by the way, you told us, you're making six. Okay, Peter, that's what facility is. Is this for like degens like yourself?
Yeah.
Okay,
the worst scum of the world.
Okay,
gets facility.
So and this is all because of this. Because Intact says you misrepresented your driving history, your accident history when you got that insurance from them, even though we have the receipts, we have the audio that proves you did not. You cannot. You are incapable of telling a lie. Do I need to go on the stand, swear in Toronto Mike to say, I've known this man for this many years and he cannot tell a lie? And I mean that sincerely. I have a lot of friends who can lie through their teeth and smile. You're not one of those.
What at some point in time when I'm in court, I want to say that I was put in the misrepresent category for something I never said,
right?
For an answer I never gave to a question I was never asked.
So please tell us all what your next steps are here. Are you going to do exactly what I suspect you're going to do? You're going to drop this case against Intact and then you're going to start a new one against Broker Link?
Yeah, I think I'm going to drive up to the Brampton court tomorrow and sue Broker Link.
Can I just, because I witnessed this court appearance and that the lawyer for Intact did a very subtle threat at the very end where she said, if you basically if I don't drop them, they're going to pursue court costs. Yeah, so if you do not drop Intact from this suit right away, essentially, she said they will be pursuing court costs, like additional costs for the lawyer and everything from you. So this will cost you a lot of money, considering I don't think it's a winnable case for you. I'm just telling you this as a non-lawyer friend of yours. I don't think you can win this right now, and I don't want you to be out of any more money. This is costing you a fortune, okay? I need you to be wealthy. You're a client, Peter. I need you to have lots of disposable income. So you're going to do this tomorrow. You're going to go to Brampton, drop this court case against Intact, and start a new one against Broker Link.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Okay, and how much does it cost to file a suit?
I think it was $105 to file it against Intact.
Okay. And let me see if I have any more. I feel like I'm in court right now. If I have any more questions for you, what were you hoping from today's court appearance, that the judge would be like, get rid of that misrepresent tag immediately? And
I liked that conversation. Yeah. I didn't really see this company, although in the back of my head, I knew I had some confusion about Broker Link and Intact, and there's all this passing of the buck. One problem I've got with Intact.
Yeah.
If I can indulge
Only one?
here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, is that I did call Intact because I got insurance with Intact for my car to drive Uber. And then I acquired a second car in September. So I called Intact and said, I need to insure this car for my son. And the agent in this conversation on September the 11th says, we see you've got an at fault. And I say, oh, okay. Yeah, I got an at fault. So based on that, they created a policy for me. And it was much more than my previous policy for my car and as well as the one for my son. So at one point, even though Intact says you never revealed to us that you had this accident, in fact, they created a new document for me after it was revealed that I'd had that accident.
You're muddying the waters here, Mr. Gross. Okay,
Yes.
so there's a lot of shit flying around here, but bottom line is Intact can easily, and they basically said, hey, we never talked to Peter. We didn't have that call with Peter. This is what we were told. So we really do need to go. Now our next step is we're going after Brokers Link, and I hope you're back here for that court appearance against Brokers Link. Wow. Okay. Now, so what we need maybe from the listenership is, if anybody, again, you're kind of screwed with this facility insurance that allows you to just drive around. So you can go to Ajax Downs and you can go to Woodbine and all these places without having to Uber or cab or take the transit or rollerblade or whatever. You can get around and do stuff. So, but that's costing you an arm and a leg. So we do need insurance help here, but you do have misrepresent on your file. But what I think we really need is a paralegal or a lawyer who's willing to be with you on these Zooms and not charge you. So we're looking for pro bono legal assistance.
Well, no,
I don't know.
Let's assume I got a small budget for that, okay?
Okay, well, again, let's assume you don't. I'm doing the math. I don't think you have a good budget for that. I think we need some help. But so Peter Gross, living legend. I'm gonna switch gears in a minute because I think we've squeezed this lemon. But that's the update for everybody. We had the court appearance, and you're gonna drop the case against Intact, and you're gonna file a new one against Brokers Link.
So do you think that people are going to come out of the woodwork like they do for Donald Trump? If you defend Donald Trump, you achieve a certain level of fame. So the same thing is going to apply to me because I'm so famous that someone's going to want to defend me just to say, you know who I defended.
Two things, Peter. One is you are Peter fucking Gross. Okay, you are kind of a living legend. You're a great character. We watched you on City TV. We heard you on 680. You're in the FOTM Hall of Fame. People will want to help you. You're a solid citizen, but also, whoever this person is who comes out of the woodwork is a paralegal or a lawyer, and it helps you for free. That person's going to get so much love on Toronto Mic'd, okay? We will give free shout outs to this particular professional. So there's a lot of advantages. So you can write Mike at torontomike.com if you have any way to help Peter Gross. The last episode was called Peter Gross is in a Pickle, and I said you were up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Well, you haven't got any further ahead. It might have got a bit worse, and we're going to try this lawsuit against. I said we now because I'm on Team Gross here. Broker Link, as you said. No apostrophe s.
And then the pickle is fermenting.
The pickle is fermenting. Okay, now I can help you by feeding you. I know you love Palma Pasta lasagna, and I know Anthony Petrucci would be honored if you took home with you today a large meat lasagna. It's in my freezer right now.
Well, I would like him to be honored. You know my son, Roger?
Of course.
Oh, when I come home with that lasagna, his life changes for the better.
Oh, my God. And then, you know what? We're going to find any reason to get you back on Toronto Mike just to help Roger out. So you're bringing home a lasagna for Roger. You don't drink, but I will have a Great Lakes beer on your behalf, okay? Shout out to Great Lakes. And Peter, a couple of dates I want to ask you about. May 12th. That's this coming Sunday. Will I see you at Christie Pitts?
Yeah, you will, and it's going to be under great duress because we are having a Mother's Day party, a Mother's Day luncheon for my mother.
She needs the whole day? Come on. You and Mark Hebscher are going to call an inning.
I can make it.
Do you know you and Mark Hebscher are going to call an inning?
Well, that's after I show up, I will call an inning. But now batting, number 5, Mike Boone, batting average 123.
That's below the Mendoza line. Okay, well, if I'm batting, we're in big trouble, the Toronto Maple Leafs. But the best baseball outside the Dome, and we'll see Peter Gross there. Anybody can come out to Christie Pitts and see Peter Gross in the flesh. Maybe you can give him a few bucks and help him out with his insurance funds. Okay?
No, I'm not begging for money. Don't go there.
Well, you're no Mike Stafford. Okay, so we have you being at the Maple Leafs game, and I'm asking now about June 27th. Are you going to be at TMLX 15 at Great Lakes Brewery?
Yes, I don't know.
6 to 9 p.m. What do you mean you don't know?
Yeah,
It wouldn't be a TMLX without you.
I like those events. I think.
You better be there. It's my 50th birthday, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
On June 27th?
I'm halfway to your mom's age.
Yeah. Well, not quite. 'Cause she's 101.
Well, I'm working on it. We'll have to find out what day that is when I reach the halfway mark. Okay, so we'll see Peter Gross at Great Lakes Brewery on the 27th. Palma Pasta will feed you. Shout out to the Advantaged Investor podcast from Raymond James Canada. And while I'm shouting out podcasts, shout out to Yes, We Are Open, which is an award-winning podcast from Monaris. Al Grego hosts that. He just went to Calgary and talked to the good people at Heritage Park Historical Village. Dominic Terry, to be specific. And you can learn all about the past 60 years at Heritage Park Historical Village. It's a great story. Al does a great job bringing it to you. Recyclemyelectronics.ca is where you go, Peter. You know this if you got to recycle your cables, your electronics. All right, Peter Gross. And Ridley Funeral Home, by the way, hopes to not see you for another 40 years, okay? So in 40 years, you'll be at their doorstep. But I want to ask you about a recent episode of Toronto Mic'd.
Okay.
By the way, Ridley is the official funeral home of Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. So you're going to see Brad Jones there. He's going to size you up for a coffin, okay? You're going to see him. Danny Kingsbury was on the show yesterday.
Huh.
Tell me what the name Danny Kingsbury means to you.
Danny Kingsbury hired me at CFNY in late fall of 1990.
I believe it was 1989.
Okay. I'll
because Reiner Schwartz was there by fall of 1990.
Yeah, you're probably right. I had left City TV in 1986, wandered in the desert for 3 years.
What did you do for those 3 years? You're no longer on Coke, right? You quit Coke.
Yeah. No,
okay, you're clean?
I think I made a couple desperate attempts to get back to City TV. I did clean my life up a bit. I was completely broke. I did some online writing. Got a few.
There wasn't any online though.
No. There was. I was doing some online.
Well,
writing.
I assure you of this. Okay, as a guy who first saw the internet at U of T in 1993. Okay, there was no online writing in 1986.
I was doing something called uedit.com or something like that.
Not in 86. There's no .com in 86. You have to trust me on this one. I'm a professional. I'm an internet professional.
Well, memory's not my strongest suit, but
that was a different. Dazed and confused period.
One of the strangest things was the CBC called me up one time and asked if I'd produce a fishing show. And off I go for 3 days into the backwoods of Ontario with this man and his wife to try and produce the fishing show. And we were just never on the same page. I wanted to shoot scenes and they wanted to fish all the time. So after
they were fishermen.
What?
Weren't they? No.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, they turned out they scrapped the show and CBC paid me my rate, whatever it was. That was
That's wild.
Being out of my element, but
well, that's out of your comfort zone. The fishing show with Peter Gross. I would pay to see that now. But okay, so eventually, how do you get the job at CFNY? You just apply? Like, how do you get the job?
I guess.
You don't remember?
I think that during that 3-year period from 1986 to 1989 where I was unemployed, I every week tried something. I had a thing called my Book of Rejections, over 200 documents from people saying that's a lovely idea, but we're not going in that direction, and da-da-da-da-da. So CFNY hired me in the fall of 1989 I think I covered...
tell us exactly what you were doing for CFNY.
I covered for Fred Patterson when he couldn't do the sports, and I got $250 a week to do editorials that were not necessary.
Like Dick Smythe type things?
Yeah, they were poor. They were poor.
That's the way I see it. I feel like you'd be good at that.
I wasn't.
Like the Andy Rooney of Toronto here. Okay.
No, I think that they were subpar, and I was fired by Reiner Schwartz in early December of 1989.
I think that's 1990. I feel so. Reiner Schwartz was already my dates only because I just had this lengthy conversation yesterday with Danny Kingsbury is that he shows up in early '89 and he's gone early 1990, and then Reiner Schwartz takes over.
Yeah.
So I feel so somewhere after post Kingsbury, you are dismissed by Reiner Schwartz. What did you think of Reiner Schwartz?
Oh, I have no comment. I barely remember it. So
And so you're backing up Freddie P. That's amazing. Back in the day, CFOI had like a backup sports commentator. That's amazing. Now, of course, Michael. There's literally there are FOTMs who were in the sports department on. By the way, I'm just because on the live stream, someone's asking about my shirt. This is Wendell Clark, and Wendell Clark will be at Christie Pitts on May 12th. I'll get a photo of Peter Gross and Wendell Clark. So Mike Hanafin. Do you know this name, Mike Hanafin? He was also, I feel like he was backing up Freddie P doing sports at CFOI. Anyways, I'm trying to jog your memory here. If you have any memories, any further memories of, did you have any like DJ shifts where you actually?
One.
Okay, because Mark Weisblad says he heard that live.
It might have been a train wreck. It's probably pretty amusing, but were they so desperate and I was the only body?
They were trying you out.
Yeah.
Let's see if Peter Gross can introduce this Cure record or something.
That didn't work out, but that was fun. However, I want to put a spin on this. So getting fired by CFNY. Now I'm living in Brampton, and it keeps coming back to this. Well, I guess I got to get in the car and do something. I took out my Brampton taxi license, and the company that I was driving for had a phone receptionist with the loveliest voice. And I got curious and went in and saw this. I'll say her name. It's Zula. And I saw her. And she's a very pretty woman. And I asked her out. And she said to me, sure, I'll go out with you. But you should know I'm 5 months pregnant.
Oh.
And I ended up, she was 19 and I was 40. But we ended up living together for 11 years. I adopted the son, Roger, and produced my daughter, Emily, with her. And even though she's gone on to somebody else and created more children, we're very good friends. We get along very well. We chat from time to time.
Okay, don't bury the lead here. You were 40.
Yeah.
See, I'm still in my 40s, and I feel like an old man here. But okay, you were 40 and she was 19. And you had a romantic relationship?
Yeah.
That's how you create a daughter, right? Okay. Peter, I didn't know, I've known you a long time. I don't think if I had known this, I'd forgot I knew this, that she was 19. So she was into Peter Gross. And even though she's 5 months pregnant, you guys start living together. And the aforementioned Palma Pasta fan, Roger, is her son.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, Peter. This is so okay. And you have what's your daughter's name?
Emily.
Emily. Does Emily live in Toronto?
Emily lives 9 kilometers west of me along the lake shore.
How come I've never met Emily? Get Emily to TMLX 15.
Probably very unlikely.
Do we have a good relationship with Emily?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got very good. I mean, I get Graham, her son, every weekend.
Yeah. Well, Graham's played with my Jarvis many, many times. Bring Graham to TMLX 15. We'll feed him and he can hang out with Jarvis. They can play Switch or whatever. Okay. So this taxi... It's amazing. You heard this voice over the taxi, CB radio, whatever the hell it is. You hear this voice, and you're like, I love that voice. I want to meet this woman. And you end up procreating with this woman.
Yeah.
Peter, okay, look at that story that just came out. That was, this court case was worth it just to get that story. That's wild. I know. Okay. It's a podcast. You have to talk. Okay. Let me close by asking you about our mutual friend, John Gallagher.
Well, he phoned me today. Phoned me before I came here.
Did you record that call?
No, I didn't.
I want to hear that.
Although there's something magic about John Gallagher. He's on all the time, and
it's called cocaine, Peter.
No, I don't think he's on cocaine. He drinks occasionally. He kept referring to a Ram commercial that he's doing.
He's doing something. I get notes about it.
And he told me a story about meeting Lee Iacocca.
Yeah.
So he was on the Live Eye with City Pulse many, many years ago, and Lee Iacocca was in the environment, and he did a pop with Lee Iacocca, and now he says, and now I work for Lee Iacocca because he's doing a Ram car commercial.
Did he talk about a reunion, maybe a Gallagher and Gross Save the World reunion, or maybe even a hit on Toronto Mike with you?
No, I meant to bring that up, but it's hard with Gallagher because he controls the conversation, and he wanted to talk to me about the Kentucky Derby. I don't know if you're following what happened in the Kentucky Derby. It's fascinating.
Well, I only know because I'm a big fan of Down the Stretch, the definitive podcast for horse racing. I know that. Tell me if I'm right. Somebody cheated like held back a Japanese horse jockey, and there's a cultural custom amongst Japanese horse racers where they will not contest a result. Do I have any of that right?
Well, kind of close. It was an extraordinary finish. The horse that won by a nose. The second place horse was a nose ahead of the third place horse. And as they're coming down to the wire, the second place horse and the third place horse are very, very close. And the jockey on the what turned out to be the second place horse, Sierra Leone, the jockey's name is Tyler Gaffalione. He's a terrific jockey. But you can see he stretches out his left arm and is pushing against the other horse.
Right.
So there's two narratives there. One, was he pushing against that horse because the horse was bearing in and he was being defensive, or was he pushing against the horse to get an advantage? Well, however you cut it, the rules are very, very clear. If a jockey uses his arm or hand to touch any part of the other horse or jockey, there should be a disqualification. The third place horse is a Japanese-owned horse, trained by a Japanese man, ridden by a Japanese person, and the Japanese, because of their honor, do not like to lodge a foul against another jockey. And in fact, the Japanese jockey said afterwards that whatever Gaffalione did with his hand didn't affect it didn't slow his horse down. But the real controversy here is that regardless of what the jockeys thought, the stewards should have launched an inquiry and looked at that. And there is sufficient evidence that the second place horse should have been disqualified and placed third because the jockey did place his hand on the other horse.
Fascinating. And will we learn more about this on the next episode of Down the Stretch?
Yes, you will, as a matter of fact, because I've got a wonderful clip by a couple of Australian race commentators who are just apoplectic that nothing was done. As a matter of fact, apparently today, because they've been prompted by all of the controversy, the stewards have called in the offending jockey, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to punish him, they're going to suspend him, which doesn't help the people who had the Japanese horse in second in exactors and triactors and place bets.
Fascinating stuff, Peter. A couple more. I said I was done, but I'm not quite done with you. You have to earn this lasagna from Palma Pasta. But you said you're paying $650 for this facility insurance?
$668 a month actually is the actual figure.
When you sit down and do the math, do you ever think, well, it'll be cheaper for you to not drive and just Uber everywhere?
Yeah, it probably would be, but
like, how important is it? Like, I know you do rollerblade, and some distances you can rollerblade, and then when you do need to get to a racetrack or get here and stuff like that, if you were to take public transit or Uber or even bum a lift off somebody, Gallagher style, then you'd save money. $668 a month that's wild to me. So you can just drive around. You can't even make money doing it.
There's an element of pride.
Well, pride cometh before the fall, Peter.
Yeah. I in terms of my legal activity, I guess I'm counting on being reimbursed. I mean, if I get the same judge, he's recognizing that this. What was it? What did
All right,
say?
let me play this again.
Yeah.
When you heard the judge say that in real time, was there a moment of hope? Like he was going to put an end to this nonsense, get that damn misrepresentation off this man's record.
Even if...
Because that's the money shot I was looking for. Like, get that off his record.
Even if someone can make some kind of cogent argument that I was purposefully dishonest and withheld evidence when I had the opportunity to present it, the punishment seems extremely excessive to the crime.
Yeah, what you're doing is you're exposing that there's no recourse, like for somebody like you who gets kind of through miscommunication or whatever, you end up with this label on your insurance and your only option is $668 a month. Like, where is your ability to challenge that or go before some tribunal and at least defend yourself? Like, there is nothing in the system that lets you say, hey, that punishment does not fit this crime, which is really just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, there was a thing called customer experience with Intact that I presented the argument to, and they turned me down
Yeah, but there's got to be some third party though, like some objective third party, because you're going to Intact to ask them about
the
Intact.
objective third party is the small claims court.
Except you got to sue the right people. Okay, so and I'm not even sure at the end of that lawsuit, it's not like if whatever happens with BrokerLink, it's not like BrokerLink can get that label removed from your insurance. Like I think we have a bigger problem here, which is how do we get rid of this misrepresent label on your permanent record? Like I think that'll end up being, forget the money. Like the money's important, but like I said, you're a healthy guy in your early 70s, and I believe you'll be around for decades. You need to drive in order to make that $800 a week you were making. That's important for you to feed your family.
I don't see myself as a 90-year-old Uber driver.
Well, you know what? I do. In your self-drive, maybe by then it'd be like a self-driving car or whatever. Uber, back, and that drones will be delivering everybody's food in the future. But all right, Peter, thank you for, I did you the favor here. I just remembered I was going to thank you for dropping by, but you did, I believe I took that call on an episode of Toronto Mike. Didn't you call when I was recording with somebody? Who was I recording with? Do you remember? Like you called me up to ask me a favor, and I was on, like I literally took the call on an episode of Toronto Mike, and somebody...
I don't know who
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but somebody will remind me. But thanks for filling us all in. We're all rooting for you. I think we all dig you, and you'll be back, because whenever you get a new court date for this new lawsuit you're going to file against the people known as BrokerLink, and if somebody out there works for BrokerLink, send me a note, mike@torontomike.com. I want to talk to you. But you'll be back for that, and then we'll do another update after that.
Could go on for quite a while.
It's like I kind of dig it. It's like this epilogue thing. It's like we're gonna keep going and going like a soap opera in the ongoing life of Peter Gross. Thanks for doing this, man. Say hello to Garnet Barnsdale for me. You know who was here earlier today? Jason Portwando.
Oh, Jason. I love Jason.
He credits you with his entire career.
Well, of course, one of many. Jim McKenney, Mike Wilner,
Jim McKenney,
Catherine Humphreys.
Well, Mike
Jason
Wilner for sure. Do you have any contact with Catherine or no?
Not for a long, long time, no.
Got to get Catherine Humphreys on Toronto Mike.
She'd be great.
Well, yeah, I know she'd be great. That's why I want her on. Just checking out what the heck this quick impromptu episode. What number was it? It was 1,486. And that brings us to the end of our 1,486th show. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky, all over the place, actually. I'm at Toronto Mike. Just follow me. Reach out, say hi. Tell your friends. Like and subscribe. I don't know. Become a patron. I never talk about that patron. Support the sponsors. Give me high fives, thumbs up, kudos. Much love to all who made this possible. That is Great Lakes Brewery, Palma Pasta, RecycleMyElectronics.ca, Raymond James Canada, the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team. Sunday. Peter Gross will be there. Stephen Brunt will be there. Yeah, Rick Emmett from Triumph. You big Triumph fan? They didn't play any Triumph on CFMY, that's why. You should have gone to Q107. They were playing Triumph on Q107. Maneris, much love to Maneris. And Ridley Funeral Home. See you all. Peter, I just got to see who's next. This ep came out of the sky here. What's next? You know what? The next recording of Toronto Mike will be at Christie Pitts on May 12. Who knows who will be on the mic? Who knows? Rod Black, Cam Gordon, Steve Paikin, Mark Hebscher. Who knows? Rick Vive. Tune in. We're recording that Sunday afternoon, but better yet, drop by, say hi in person. Peace and love to you all. See you then.
'Cause I know that's true, yes I do. I know it's true, yeah. I know it's true. How about you? Oh, they're picking up trash and they're putting down roads. And they're brokering stocks, the class struggle explodes. And I play this guitar just the best that I can. Maybe I'm not, and maybe I
I better not name. And I've seen the sun go down on Shakla Creek.